Have you ever listened to someone speaking English and thought, wow, they sound so natural, and then 1 minute later started doubting your own English completely?
Oh, all the time. One day I feel confident because I understand a movie scene without subtitles, and the next day someone asks me a simple question in English and suddenly my brain stops working.
And that is exactly why so many people have no idea what their real English level is. They think English level is only about grammar or vocabulary, but actually it is about something much deeper.
Exactly, because maybe you know hundreds of words, but you still freeze during a real conversation.
Or maybe you make grammar mistakes, but you can still communicate easily with people from different countries.
So today we are doing something really fun.
We are going to test your English level together.
And not in that boring school exam style, where you just answer random grammar questions.
No, this is going to feel more like a real-life challenge.
By the end of this episode, you will probably discover something surprising about your English.
Maybe you are stronger than you think.
Or maybe there is one hidden weakness that is stopping you from sounding more fluent.
And here is the important part. Be honest with yourself while listening.
Because if you always say, my English is terrible, even when it is not, you never see your real progress.
And if you always think my English is already perfect, you stop improving.
So today, we are going to find the truth.
We will explore beginner English, intermediate English, advanced English, and even the small details that separate an advanced learner from someone who sounds almost native.
And trust me, some of these questions are going to surprise you because they are not only about grammar.
They are about how you think in English, react in English, and survive in real conversations.
So if you're ready, take a deep breath, grab a notebook if you want, and play along with us.
And while you are listening, count how many times you think, oh wow, I can do that. Or oops, I still need to work on that.
Also, make sure you stay until the end because one of the biggest signs of advanced English has nothing to do with vocabulary size.
It is something much more subtle.
And most English learners never realize it.
Welcome back to Talk Easy Daily.
If you enjoy these kinds of episodes where you can test yourself while learning, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and comment below with your English level guess before we even begin.
Yes, do you think you are beginner, intermediate, upper intermediate, or advanced?
And be honest, no cheating.
Because sometimes people say, I'm advanced, because they know difficult words.
But then they can't order food confidently in English.
Or they say, I'm only a beginner, even though they can understand podcasts, movies, and conversations.
So let us start with something simple.
Imagine someone asks you this question. Can you introduce yourself in English for 1 minute without stopping?
That sounds easy until you actually try it.
Exactly, because this is one of the fastest ways to understand your real level.
If you can only say things like, my name is Speaker 2, I am 25 years old, I like music and pizza, then you are probably still at a beginner level.
But if you can explain your hobbies, personality, dreams, daily routine, and experiences naturally for 1 full minute, then you are probably already intermediate or higher.
And if you can do it without translating in your head every 2 seconds, that's an even stronger sign.
Here's a quick challenge for you. Pause this video for a moment and try introducing yourself in English for 1 minute.
Really do it, not in your head, out loud.
Because English in your mind and English from your mouth are 2 very different things.
That is so true. In your mind, you sound fluent. Out loud, suddenly you forget the word for kitchen.
And that happens to everyone.
So if you struggled with that challenge, do not panic.
It does not mean your English is bad.
It simply means you have found one area to improve.
Now here is another test.
Imagine you are traveling in another country and your hotel reservation has disappeared.
The receptionist says they can't find your booking.
Could you explain the problem calmly in English?
Could you say something like, I booked the room 2 weeks ago and I already received the confirmation email?
Could you ask questions like, is there another room available? Or can I speak to the manager?
Beginner learners often know vocabulary, but they struggle when the conversation becomes unexpected.
Because real English is not only about memorizing sentences.
It is about adapting when life becomes messy.
And honestly, that's where many people realize their real level for the first time.
They feel confident in class.
But then, real life happens.
Someone speaks too fast.
Someone uses slang.
Someone asks an unexpected question.
And suddenly your brain says, good luck, you're on your own.
If that has happened to you before, comment relatable below because you are definitely not alone.
I think every English learner has had that moment where they understand everything at home, but outside in the real world, it feels completely different.
And that difference is important because your true English level is not about what you know.
It's about what you can actually use.
Now let's talk about listening because this is where many learners become confused.
Oh yes, Some people think they are bad at English just because they can't understand fast native speakers.
But here is the reality. Even native speakers sometimes struggle to understand other native speakers.
Especially when people speak quickly, mumble, use slang, or have a strong accent.
So here's a better question to test your listening level.
Can you understand the main idea even if you miss some words?
That is a huge sign of progress.
Because beginners need to understand every word.
But stronger learners can understand the meaning even when they miss details.
For example, imagine someone says, "I was running late, grabbed a coffee, missed the train, and had to call my boss."
Maybe you don't know every single word,
But you still understand the story.
and that means your English is growing.
Because real communication is not about perfection.
It is about understanding enough to keep moving.
And in the next part, we are going to test your vocabulary, grammar skills, conversation skills, and one hidden ability that almost nobody talks about but instantly reveals your real English level.
Now, let us move to vocabulary, because this is where many learners judge themselves too harshly.
Exactly. People think, I only know simple words, so my English must be bad.
But simple English is not bad English.
In fact, some of the best communicators in the world use simple words.
Think about this. Which sentence sounds more natural? I was extremely fatigued due to occupational responsibilities. Or, I was really tired because of work.
Definitely the second one.
Exactly. Advanced English is not about sounding like a dictionary.
It is about choosing the right words at the right time.
So here is a vocabulary test for you.
If someone asks you, "How was your day?" how many different ways can you answer?
Can you only say good or bad?
Or can you say things like, "It was exhausting," "It was stressful," "It was surprisingly fun," "It was productive," or "It was a complete disaster"?
The more naturally you can express different emotions, experiences, and opinions, the stronger your English probably is.
Because real vocabulary is not only about big words.
It is about flexible words.
Here is a mini challenge.
Think of 5 different ways to say happy.
Maybe you thought of words like excited, cheerful, relaxed, grateful, or thrilled.
That is great, because one sign of intermediate and advanced English is the ability to avoid repeating the same basic words again and again.
And by the way, if you want to improve fast, this is one of the easiest habits you can start today.
Instead of learning random difficult words, learn 5 new ways to express common emotions.
Learn 5 ways to say tired.
Learn 5 ways to say hungry.
Learn 5 ways to say angry.
That will make your English sound more natural much faster than memorizing words like philosophical or environmentalism,
Unless you are actually having philosophical conversations every day.
which, to be fair, would be pretty interesting.
Now let us talk about grammar.
Ah, yes, the thing that scares almost every English learner.
Especially when people start thinking about present perfect, conditionals, passive voice, reported speech, and all those complicated names.
But here is something important.
You don't need perfect grammar to communicate effectively.
You need clear grammar.
There's a big difference.
For example, if someone says, "Yesterday I go to the store and buy food," the grammar is not perfect.
But you still understand the meaning.
Exactly. Now compare that to someone saying, "Yesterday, store, buy food."
That's much harder to understand.
So when you test your grammar level, ask yourself this question.
Can people understand me clearly most of the time?
If the answer is yes, your grammar is already helping you communicate.
Then you can improve little by little.
Here is a useful test.
Can you talk about the past, present, and future without getting completely lost?
Can you explain what you did yesterday?
Can you explain what you usually do every week?
Can you explain what you are planning to do next month?
If yes, that's already a strong sign.
Beginner learners often stay trapped in the present tense,
They can say, "I work in an office," or "I like coffee."
but they struggle with sentences like, "I had been waiting for 2 hours before the bus arrived."
Or, "If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam."
Those longer sentence structures are usually signs of higher level English,
But don't worry if they still feel difficult.
because even native speakers sometimes make mistakes with complicated grammar.
And honestly, some native speakers use terrible grammar all the time.
That is true.
So if you are making mistakes, welcome to the club.
Now let us test something even more important than grammar.
Conversation survival skills.
Because sometimes your English level is not about what happens when everything goes smoothly.
It is about what happens when you don't understand something.
Imagine someone says a sentence too quickly.
What do you do?
Do you panic and stop speaking completely?
Or can you say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
Or could you speak a little more slowly?
Or even, "I'm not familiar with that word. What does it mean?"
Those are powerful survival phrases.
And learners who know how to survive difficult moments often seem much more confident.
Because fluency is not only about knowing everything.
It is also about staying calm when you don't know something.
Think about that for a moment.
A truly strong English speaker is not someone who never gets confused.
It is someone who knows what to do when confusion happens.
That's such a big difference.
Here is a small story.
A friend of mine once traveled to London and felt very confident about his English.
But on his first day, someone asked him, "You all right?"
And he froze.
Because he thought the person was asking if he was sick or injured.
But in British English, "you all right" often just means, "how are you?"
So he stood there thinking, do I look sick? Why are they worried about me?
That's actually so funny.
But it also shows something important.
English is not only grammar and vocabulary.
It is culture, habits, expressions, tone, and context.
That's why some people know thousands of words but still feel lost in real conversations.
Because they learned textbook English.
But real English is messy.
People interrupt each other.
People speak too fast.
People use slang.
People say one thing but mean something else.
For example, if someone says, "That's interesting," they may not actually mean it is interesting.
Sometimes they mean, "I don't agree with you."
Exactly.
English can be very sneaky sometimes.
So here is another test.
Can you understand jokes, sarcasm, or hidden meaning in English?
If yes, you are probably already moving into advanced territory.
Because understanding words is one thing.
Understanding intention is something much deeper.
For example, imagine someone says, "Wow, great job," after a person drops their phone into water.
The words sound positive.
But the meaning is obviously negative.
That ability to understand emotional meaning is one of the strongest signs of high-level English.
And if you can't do that yet, don't worry.
Because it comes with time, movies, podcasts, conversations, and real-life practice.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Now let us do a quick self-check.
If you can introduce yourself, talk about your daily life, ask basic questions, and survive simple conversations, you're probably beginner to lower intermediate.
If you can explain opinions, tell stories, describe experiences, understand podcasts, and keep conversations going, you're probably intermediate to upper intermediate.
And if you can understand humor, sarcasm, fast speech, hidden meanings, and express complex ideas naturally, you're probably advanced.
But here is the most important thing.
Your English level is not your identity,
It is just your current stage.
and stages can change,
Someone who is beginner today can become advanced in the future.
but only if they keep going.
And in the next part, we are going to talk about pronunciation, thinking in English, and the biggest mistake that keeps people stuck at the same level for years.
Let us talk about pronunciation, because this is where many learners become insecure very quickly.
Oh yes, so many people think my pronunciation is terrible, nobody will understand me.
But here is something very important.
You do not need a perfect American or British accent to speak good English.
You only need clear pronunciation.
That is such a relief to hear.
Think about it. English is spoken all over the world.
People from India, Pakistan, Brazil, Japan, Germany, Turkey, France, and dozens of other countries all speak English differently.
And that is completely normal.
Your accent is not the problem.
Unclear pronunciation is the problem.
There is a difference.
For example, if you say beach, but it sounds like another word, that can create confusion.
A lot of confusion.
Or if you say sheet incorrectly, people may hear something very different.
English can be dangerous sometimes.
Exactly. That is why pronunciation is not about sounding native.
It is about sounding understandable.
Here is a quick pronunciation test.
Can people usually understand you the first time you speak?
Or do they often ask you to repeat yourself 3 or 4 times?
If people usually understand you, your pronunciation is probably already better than you think.
And if they do not worry.
Because pronunciation can improve surprisingly fast with practice.
One of the best ways to improve is shadowing.
That means listening to a native speaker and repeating exactly what they say.
Their rhythm, their stress, their pauses, their pronunciation.
Almost like acting in a movie.
Exactly.
And actually, that's one reason why podcasts are so useful.
Because you hear natural speaking patterns again and again.
So if you are listening to Talk Easy Daily regularly, you're already helping your pronunciation more than you realize.
Now, let us talk about something even more interesting.
Thinking in English.
This is one of the biggest differences between intermediate and advanced learners,
Because beginners often translate everything from their first language into English.
which is exhausting.
Very exhausting.
Imagine you want to say something simple like, "I forgot my keys."
A beginner might think of the sentence in their own language first.
Then translate every word one by one.
And by the time they are ready to speak, the conversation is already over.
Exactly.
But advanced learners often think directly in English.
They see the keys and immediately the English sentence appears in their mind.
No translation step. That makes speaking much faster and more natural. So here's a little test. When you speak English, do you translate in your head first? If yes, do not panic.
Most learners do.
But if you want to become more fluent, one of your goals should be to reduce that translation habit little by little.
Here is a simple trick.
Throughout your day, try naming things around you in English.
Chair, door, water bottle, laptop, window.
Then move to simple thoughts.
I am hungry.
I need coffee.
I do not want to wake up early tomorrow.
The more you practice small thoughts in English, the easier it becomes to think naturally.
And here is something surprising.
Sometimes people think they need more grammar to become fluent.
But actually, what they need is faster thinking.
That is such a good point.
Because you might already know enough English to communicate.
But your brain is still too slow because it's translating everything.
And that delay creates stress.
Then the stress creates more mistakes.
Then the mistakes create less confidence.
And suddenly you feel like your English is getting worse, even when it's actually improving.
If that has happened to you, you are not alone.
It happens to almost every learner at some point.
Now, let us talk about the biggest mistake that keeps people stuck for years.
This one is painful.
Many learners spend years collecting English.
They collect grammar rules.
They collect vocabulary lists.
They collect YouTube videos.
They collect apps.
They collect notebooks full of words.
But they never actually use the language.
That is like reading books about swimming without ever entering the water.
Exactly.
You can know every grammar rule in the world, but if you never speak, you'll never become confident.
You can memorize 10,000 words, but if you never practice listening, real conversations will still feel difficult.
That is why active English is more powerful than passive English.
Passive English means watching, reading, and studying.
Active English means speaking, writing, thinking, repeating, and using.
Both are important
But many people spend 90% of their time on passive English.
because it feels safer.
There is no risk.
Nobody hears your mistakes.
Nobody corrects you.
Nobody judges you.
But the problem is that real improvement happens when things become uncomfortable.
Think about the gym.
If you always lift the lightest weights, your muscles never grow.
English works the same way.
If you only do easy exercises, your English never becomes stronger.
So ask yourself honestly,
When was the last time you had a real conversation in English?
when was the last time you recorded your voice in English?
When was the last time you wrote a paragraph in English without using a translator?
Those are the moments that reveal your real level.
And they are also the moments that help you grow the fastest.
Here is a challenge for you.
After this episode, record yourself speaking English for 2 minutes about your day.
Then listen to it.
You will probably notice 3 things.
First, you are better than you thought in some areas.
Second, you repeat the same words too often.
And third, there are a few places where you get stuck
Those stuck places are important.
because they show you exactly what you need to improve next.
Maybe you need more vocabulary.
Maybe you need better pronunciation.
Maybe you need more confidence.
But at least now you know,
And that is powerful.
because you cannot improve what you never test.
That is why today's episode is not really about labels like beginner or advanced.
It is about awareness,
It is about understanding where you are right now.
so you can move forward more intelligently.
And in the next part, we are going to talk about real-life situations that instantly reveal your English level, including job interviews, friendships, arguments, and even flirting in English.
Let us imagine a job interview.
That is already stressful, even in your own language.
Exactly. Now imagine someone asks you, "Can you tell me about yourself and describe your previous work experience?"
That question is much harder than it sounds.
Because now you need vocabulary, grammar, confidence, and clear speaking all at the same time.
You cannot just say, I work office, good job, nice people.
Exactly. You need to explain your responsibilities, your experience, your strengths, and maybe even your future goals.
So if you can answer interview questions in English with some detail, that is a very strong sign that your level is already intermediate or higher.
Especially if you can continue speaking after the first answer.
Because sometimes people memorize one perfect answer,
But then the interviewer asks a follow-up question.
and suddenly everything falls apart.
That is why flexibility matters more than memorization.
Here is another situation.
Imagine you meet a new friend who only speaks English.
Could you have a 30-minute conversation?
Could you talk about movies, family, work, hobbies, travel, food, relationships, and daily life?
Or would the conversation die after 5 minutes?
That is a very honest test of your level.
Because real friendship conversations are unpredictable.
1 minute you are talking about your favorite foods.
The next minute, you are talking about childhood memories or future dreams.
If you can move naturally between different topics, that is a big sign of progress.
And here is something people don't talk about enough.
One of the biggest signs of advanced English is the ability to ask good questions.
That is true.
Many learners focus only on answering questions.
But strong communicators know how to keep the conversation alive.
They ask things like, "What made you decide that?"
Or, how did you feel about that experience?
Or even, "If you could change one thing, what would it be?"
Those kinds of questions make conversations deeper and more natural.
So if you want to sound more fluent, stop thinking only about what you want to say,
Start thinking about what you can ask.
because good questions create good conversations.
And if you agree, comment below with your favorite question to ask people in English.
Maybe it's, "What is your dream job?"
Or what country do you want to visit?
Or maybe something funny like, "What is the weirdest food you have ever eaten?"
That one always creates interesting conversations.
Now let us talk about arguments.
Oh no.
Yes.
Because arguing in another language is a completely different skill.
Imagine someone says something you disagree with.
Can you explain your opinion politely?
Can you say, "I understand your point, but I see it differently"?
Or, I'm not sure I agree with that.
Or even, "That's an interesting perspective, but here's what I think."
Those phrases are signs of higher level English, because now you are not only sharing information,
You are defending ideas.
and that requires confidence.
It also requires emotional control.
Because when people get emotional, they often lose their English completely.
Suddenly, they know exactly what they want to say in their own language.
But in English, their brain just gives up.
That is why emotional conversations are such a powerful test.
If you can explain frustration, disappointment, excitement, fear, or anger in English, your level is probably stronger than you think. Here's a quick example. Beginner English might sound like, "I am angry."
Intermediate English might sound like, "I'm upset because nobody listened to me."
Advanced English might sound like, "I was frustrated because I felt like my opinion didn't matter."
Notice the difference.
The emotion becomes more detailed, more personal, and more natural.
That is one of the clearest signs of growth.
Now let's talk about something that many people nervous.
Flirting in English.
Oh wow, that is dangerous territory.
It is.
Because speaking English in class is one thing.
But speaking English when you like someone is completely different.
Suddenly you forget every word you have ever learned.
Exactly.
Someone asks you a simple question and your brain says, "Sorry, system error."
But flirting is actually a great English test.
Because it requires humor, confidence, quick thinking, and understanding hidden meaning.
For example, if someone says, "So, do you always smile this much?"
You need to understand the playful tone.
Or if someone says, "You are interesting," you need to know whether they really mean it.
And you need to respond naturally.
Beginner learners usually stay very direct,
They say things like, "You are beautiful."
which is fine.
But more advanced speakers might say, "You have a really nice smile."
Or, "I like talking to you."
Or even, "You are easy to talk to."
Those softer expressions often sound more natural,
And understanding those small emotional differences is a sign of advanced listening.
because language is not only about words.
It is about feeling.
Here's another important situation.
Phone calls.
Yes, one of the scariest things for English learners.
Because on the phone, you cannot see the other person's face.
You cannot read their body language,
You only have their voice.
and sometimes the line is bad.
Sometimes they speak too fast,
Sometimes you understand everything except the most important detail.
like the address or the time.
Exactly.
So if you can survive a phone call in English, that is a huge achievement.
Especially if you can ask people to repeat information politely.
For example, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or "Could you spell that for me?" Or "Let me make sure I understood correctly."
Those phrases can save you in so many situations.
Honestly, survival phrases might be more important than grammar rules.
In many situations, they are.
Because survival phrases keep the conversation moving.
And once the conversation keeps moving, your confidence grows,
Then your confidence makes your English sound better.
even if your grammar is not perfect.
That is such an important lesson.
Many people think confidence comes after fluency,
But sometimes fluency comes after confidence.
because confident people are willing to speak, make mistakes, and keep going.
While insecure people stay silent, even when they know the answer.
So ask yourself honestly,
Are you waiting to become perfect before you start speaking?
because if you are, you may wait forever.
Nobody ever feels completely ready.
Not even advanced speakers.
There is always a new word, a new expression, a new accent, or a new situation.
That is why learning English never really ends,
But that is also what makes it interesting.
because every conversation teaches you something new.
And in the next part, we are going to explore real stories of English learners at different levels, so you can compare yourself and finally understand where you truly are.
Let me tell you about 3 different English learners.
This is going to be interesting.
The first learner is named Daniel.
Daniel studies English every day.
He knows a lot of grammar rules.
He has vocabulary notebooks full of difficult words.
He can explain the difference between present perfect and past perfect.
He can even tell you what a conditional sentence is,
But when someone asks him a simple question in English, he freezes.
because he is afraid of making mistakes.
He starts thinking too much.
He checks every sentence in his head before speaking.
And by the time he is ready to answer, the moment is gone.
A lot of viewers are probably thinking, that sounds like me.
Exactly. Daniel is not a beginner.
But he is stuck because he values perfection more than communication.
Now let us talk about the second learner.
Her name is Sophia.
Sophia does not know every grammar rule.
Sometimes she makes mistakes with tenses,
Sometimes she forgets words.
but she speaks anyway.
She asks questions.
She watches movies.
She listens to podcasts.
She talks to people online.
She is not perfect
But every month she becomes more fluent.
because she is building confidence through action.
That is such a powerful difference.
Now let us talk about the third learner.
This one sounds mysterious already.
His name is Adam.
Adam speaks English very well.
He can explain ideas clearly.
He understands jokes.
He can watch movies without subtitles.
He can speak naturally in meetings, conversations, and social situations.
But Adam still feels insecure.
Really?
Yes, because every time he hears a native speaker use a word he does not know, he immediately thinks, my English is still terrible.
That's so sad because he is already doing really well.
Exactly.
And I think many advanced learners have this problem.
They become so focused on what they don't know that they forget how much they already know.
So which learner are you?
Are you Daniel, who knows a lot but rarely uses it?
Are you Sophia, who is improving because she keeps practicing?
Or are you Adam, who is already strong but still lacks confidence?
Be honest with yourself.
Because the answer tells you what you need to improve next.
If you are like Daniel, maybe you need more speaking practice.
If you are like Sophia, maybe you need more grammar and structure.
And if you are like Adam, maybe you need to stop being so hard on yourself.
Here is another interesting test.
Think about the last time you made a mistake in English.
What happened next?
Did you stop speaking completely?
Did you feel embarrassed for the rest of the day?
Or did you laugh, correct yourself, and continue?
Your answer says a lot about your level too.
Because strong learners are not people who never make mistakes.
They are people who recover quickly after mistakes.
That is such an important skill.
Imagine you were talking to someone and you forget a word.
Beginner learners often panic.
They stop speaking.
They apologize.
They switch back to their own language.
But stronger learners do something different.
They find another way to explain the idea.
For example, maybe they forget the word umbrella.
Instead of stopping, they say, the thing you use when it rains.
That is a powerful skill.
Because real fluency is not knowing every word.
It is knowing how to survive when you don't know a word.
Native speakers do this too.
All the time.
Sometimes native speakers forget words in their own language.
Then they explain the idea in a different way.
So if you do that in English, you are actually behaving like a fluent speaker.
That should make a lot of people feel better.
Here is another story.
I like these stories because they make everything feel more real.
A woman once said she had been studying English for 8 years.
8 years is a long time.
Yes, but she still felt like a beginner.
Why?
Because she compared herself to native speakers all the time.
That is dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Because native speakers have been using English since childhood.
Exactly.
That is not a fair comparison.
One day she traveled abroad and had to speak English every day for 2 weeks.
That sounds terrifying.
At first, she struggled.
Of course.
But after a few days, something changed.
What happened?
She realized people understood her.
Even with mistakes?
Yes.
Even with an accent?
Yes.
Even when she forgot words?
Yes.
That must have been such a powerful moment.
It was. Because for the first time, she stopped focusing on sounding perfect.
And started focusing on connecting with people.
Exactly.
That is beautiful.
And that is one of the biggest mindset shifts in language learning.
Stop asking, how can I sound perfect?
Start asking, how can I communicate better?
Because communication is the real goal.
Not perfection.
Let us do one more self-test.
Imagine someone starts speaking to you in English unexpectedly.
Maybe in a shop, maybe online, maybe while traveling.
What is your first emotional reaction?
Panic?
Excitement?
Fear?
Curiosity?
Confidence?
Your emotional reaction can reveal a lot about your current stage.
Because if English still feels like danger, maybe you need more comfortable practice.
And if English feels exciting, that is usually a sign that your confidence is growing.
Even if you still make mistakes.
Confidence is not the absence of mistakes.
It is the absence of fear.
That is powerful.
Very powerful.
And here is something every viewer should remember.
Your English level is not fixed.
It changes every time you practice.
Every time you speak.
Every time you listen.
Every time you make a mistake and learn from it.
That is why you should never say, my English is bad.
Say, my English is improving.
Because that sentence changes everything.
And in the next part, we are going to go deeper into the hidden habits that make some learners improve quickly while others stay stuck for years.
Let us talk about the hidden habits that separate fast learners from stuck learners.
Because sometimes two people study English for the same amount of time, but one improves much faster.
Exactly.
And usually the difference is not intelligence.
It is habit.
That is important because many people think maybe I am just bad at languages.
But most of the time, that is not true.
Most people are not bad at English.
They just have ineffective habits.
So let us start with the first habit.
Fast learners do not wait for motivation.
That is huge.
They study even when they do not feel excited.
Because motivation comes and goes.
Some days you feel inspired.
Other days you want to watch random videos and do absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
But strong learners continue anyway.
Even if it is only 15 minutes.
Because consistency is more powerful than intensity.
Studying for 20 minutes every day is usually better than studying for 5 hours once a month.
That is true in almost everything.
The second habit is that strong learners create English around them.
What do you mean?
They change their phone language to English.
They follow English social media pages.
They watch English YouTube videos.
They listen to podcasts while walking, cooking, or cleaning.
They stop treating English like a school subject.
And start treating it like part of daily life.
Exactly.
That makes such a big difference because then English is everywhere.
And when English becomes normal in your life, your brain stops seeing it as something stressful.
It starts feeling familiar.
Here is another habit.
Strong learners repeat things.
Yes.
Weak learners often watch one video, read one article, or learn one word, and then immediately move on.
But strong learners revisit the same content.
They listen to the same podcast episode twice.
They repeat the same speaking exercise multiple times.
They review vocabulary again and again.
Because repetition creates memory.
And memory creates confidence.
Think about your favorite song.
You probably know the lyrics because you heard it many times.
Exactly.
English works the same way.
If you hear the phrase, "I am looking forward to it," 100 times, eventually it becomes automatic.
You stop translating it.
You stop thinking about grammar.
You just know it.
That is one reason why people who watch the same TV shows repeatedly often improve quickly.
Because repetition makes English feel natural.
Now let us talk about another hidden habit.
Strong learners are not afraid of being embarrassed.
That is a very big one.
Because embarrassment stops so many people from speaking.
They think, what if I say the wrong word?
What if people laugh at me?
What if my pronunciation sounds strange?
But here's the truth.
Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you.
And even if someone does judge you, that says more about them than about you.
Exactly.
You should be proud that you are trying to speak another language.
Because learning another language is difficult.
Very difficult.
And every mistake you make is proof that you are trying.
That is why mistakes are not the enemy.
Silence is the enemy.
Wow.
Think about it.
If you make mistakes while speaking, you can improve.
But if you never speak, nothing changes.
So the goal is not to avoid mistakes.
The goal is to become comfortable making them.
That mindset changes everything.
Here is another habit that strong learners have.
They focus on progress, not perfection.
Beginner learners often say things like, "I can't speak English."
But that is usually not true.
Maybe they can't speak perfectly.
But maybe they can introduce themselves, ask simple questions, and understand basic conversations.
That already matters.
Because when you only focus on what you can't do, you lose motivation.
But when you notice what you can do, you build momentum.
Here's a quick exercise.
Think about your English 1 year ago.
Were you able to understand this much English back then?
Were you able to watch videos like this without subtitles?
Were you able to understand podcasts, comments, or conversations?
Maybe your progress feels slow because you see yourself every day.
But if you compare yourself to the old version of yourself, you might realize you have improved more than you thought.
That's such an important habit.
Celebrate progress.
Even small progress.
Because small progress repeated over time becomes big progress.
Now let us talk about a hidden habit that keeps people stuck.
This one might hurt a little.
Many learners spend too much time searching for the perfect method.
Oh yes.
They jump from app to app.
From teacher to teacher.
From YouTube channel to YouTube channel.
From grammar book to grammar book.
They keep thinking, maybe this next method will finally make me fluent.
But the truth is, most methods work if you use them consistently.
Exactly.
The problem is usually not the method.
It is the lack of consistency.
So instead of asking, what is the perfect way to learn English?
Ask, what is the best way that I can continue doing every day?
Because the best study plan is the one you actually follow.
Not the one that looks impressive.
That is so true.
Someone who studies 20 minutes every day for a year will usually improve more than someone who studies 4 hours once every 2 weeks.
Consistency wins again.
It almost always does.
Here is another hidden habit of successful learners.
They enjoy the process.
That sounds simple, but it is powerful.
Because if you hate everything about learning English, you will never stay consistent.
So find parts of English that you actually enjoy.
Maybe you love movies.
Watch movies in English.
Maybe you love football.
Follow football interviews in English.
Maybe you love cooking.
Watch cooking videos in English.
Maybe you love technology, travel, fitness, fashion, gaming, or business.
Whatever you already enjoy, connect it to English.
Because then English stops feeling like homework.
And starts feeling like real life.
That's one of the biggest secrets.
The people who improve the fastest usually don't only study English.
They live with English.
And that is why their progress feels more natural.
Before we finish this part, let us do one final challenge.
This is a good one.
Imagine you had to rate your English from 1 to 10.
1 means you know almost nothing.
10 means you sound almost native.
What number would you choose?
Be honest.
But here's the important part.
Do not only choose the number,
Explain why.
because maybe you are a 6 in listening.
But only a 4 in speaking.
Maybe you are an 8 in reading.
But a 5 in pronunciation.
That is completely normal.
English level is not one single thing.
It is a combination of many different skills.
And when you understand your strengths and weaknesses clearly, improving becomes much easier.
Because now you know exactly what to work on next.
And in the next part, we are going to recap everything, help viewers finally decide their English level, and give one final message that could completely change the way they see their progress.
So after everything we discussed today, you probably have a much clearer picture of your English level.
And maybe you also realize that your English is better than you thought.
Because many learners focus too much on their weaknesses,
They think about the words they forget,
the grammar mistakes they make,
the moments when they panic.
but they forget about everything they can already do.
Maybe you can understand podcasts now.
Maybe you can watch movies with fewer subtitles.
Maybe you can have short conversations.
Maybe you can express your opinions.
Maybe you can tell stories.
Maybe you can survive unexpected situations in English.
All of those things matter.
So let us do one final recap.
If you can only use very basic sentences, struggle with simple questions, and need a lot of translation, you are probably beginner level.
If you can talk about daily life, explain your opinions, understand slower conversations, and survive most situations, you are probably intermediate.
If you can understand jokes, sarcasm, fast speech, emotional conversations, hidden meanings, and complex ideas, you are probably advanced.
But remember, nobody is perfect in every area.
You might be advanced in listening, but intermediate in speaking.
You might be strong in grammar but weak in pronunciation.
You might understand everything, but still feel shy when you speak.
That does not mean you are failing.
It just means you are human.
And here is something really important.
Your English level is not permanent.
It is not something fixed forever.
It changes every time you practice.
Every time you watch a video.
Every time you read an article.
Every time you make a mistake and learn from it.
Every time you speak, even when you feel nervous.
So stop saying, I am bad at English.
Start saying, I am getting better at English.
Because those two sentences create completely different futures.
One sentence makes you want to quit.
The other sentence gives you hope.
And hope matters.
Because language learning is not a quick process.
It takes time.
It takes repetition.
It takes mistakes.
It takes uncomfortable moments.
But if you keep going, you will improve.
Maybe not overnight.
Maybe not next week.
But little by little, month by month, your English will become stronger.
One day you will understand something that used to confuse you.
One day you will say a sentence without translating.
One day you will have a conversation that feels natural.
And in that moment, you will realize how far you have come.
So before we finish, we want you to do something.
Write your English level in the comments.
Beginner, intermediate, upper intermediate, or advanced.
And also write one thing you want to improve next.
Maybe speaking.
Maybe listening.
Maybe pronunciation.
Maybe confidence.
Because once you know where you are, you can finally decide where you want to go.
And if this episode helped you understand your English level better, make sure you like the video.
Share it with a friend who is learning English too.
And subscribe to Talk Easy Daily for more real English conversations, speaking tips, listening practice, and confidence building lessons.
Because you are not learning alone.
We are learning together.
And your English journey is only getting started.
See you in the next episode.
See you next time.